Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask that you connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And bingo, there we go, 10 of Cups. You're welcome, Leo. I think that you're in a position right now where you're kind of thinking of your long-term happiness. Okay, this is the 10 of Cups. This is satiety. This is fullness. I think that you're somebody who is really starting to think ahead. Maybe you've always been a bit of a planner, but this is kind of, this is like that time in your life where you think, okay, I'm not getting any younger. What do I need to do to be the happiest that I can be? How do I really make my life as full and as complete as possible? How do I optimize my situation, my circumstances, and the time I have left? Okay, which hopefully is another 100 years, right? But we have to start thinking about the long term, about the future. So the 10 of Cups is always the 10s of anything really are kind of the ideal that we would be working toward. Okay, I feel like this is what you're looking at, and you're maybe asking yourself, what does happiness even look like for me? Right? What is this full and complete, just dream come true life? What does it look like? Maybe get out your sheet of paper, get out a pencil, draw a picture, or make a list, right? If you can't draw like me, I would just make a list probably. And ask yourself, like, what really is necessary in your life to be happy? Right? And we do the same exercise when we get the 10 of Pentacles as well, because to me, that's kind of like also this image, this ideal of the best life. Okay? So the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles really they go hand in hand. They really do. But I think you're somebody that's starting to look at the long-term happiness. And does that mean that maybe there's some things in your life right now that you're not too happy about? Things that have been maybe nagging at you that I really got to change some of those things. Go get the tooth fixed, right? Take care of these little things that are just kind of nagging at you, right? Just get them off your list. Yeah. And let's start thinking about the long-term happiness. Again, this is fullness. This is a life that is just completely satisfied in every aspect. Now, can we ever really attain that kind of happiness and satisfaction? We could, but I think once we do, we've got to then push the goalpost back a little bit so we have something else to strive for, right? That we can reach the finish line, but then let's start another race, or let's maybe push the goal back, or push the finish line back, or create some more cups that we can then strive toward filling, okay? But let's see what your kind of long-term happiness might look like, or how we are planning for this kind of long-term happiness. We've got the six of Wands. It's a card of victory. It's Jupiter in Leo, right? So this is definitely one of your cards, okay? And this is the satisfaction, I think, that you feel when you start to make progress, when you're able to check things off your list, and we can lay in bed at the end of the day and think, I got a lot of stuff done today. You know, and it's the small things, right, as well as the big things, you know. And it brings a sense of satisfaction. It starts to really encourage us. I think, wow, I got, you know, they may be really tiny, tiny little things, but I did like 50 things today, you know. Let's be proud of that. Let's use that as encouragement that says, wow, if I did 50 little things today, maybe tomorrow I can do 1 or 2 big things. Okay, or maybe we just work our way up to that. But this is the idea that we kind of know what we're after. We're looking at the 10 of Cups way out there, right, wherever it might be in the future. Let's say it's a year from now, right? Where do we want to be a year from now. And we start with the little things. They kind of say, and I don't know, when you're taking tests or something, right? They say, just do the easy questions first, and then come back to those really difficult ones so that you can spend more time on them, but you can also be free of the burden of all the other little ones you got to do. So in that sense, we're gonna try to accomplish as many of the little things as we can, just to get them off of our plate. Okay. And I think that will allow us more focus on these larger aspects of life. Okay, that we really need to focus on, or perhaps change, perhaps tweak a little bit, or just to keep pushing forward at them to get to that 10 of Cups, that perfect dream life, happiness. Yeah. So the 6 of Wands is that kind of confidence. It's seeing the progress and thinking, I can do this, right? Now, the only problem with this is that sometimes we get a little overconfident, or we get a little bit too proud of ourselves. We think, I did a couple of things today. I'm the best, right? Nothing can stop me. And then the next day we don't really do anything because it's kind of like, I already did a lot, you know? So we can get that kind of arrogance kind of with this card, and that's why it's a Jupiter energy. It's this expanding sense of pride and confidence, which we need to keep it in balance. This is the card of balance and harmony. It's kind of having the perfect amount of confidence and kind of faith in ourselves that allows us to continue to accomplish our goals, the little ones and the big ones, right? Again and again and again, day after day, pushing forward toward this ideal of fullness and satisfaction and happiness. Okay, this is really the 10 of Cups is a great place to be. It's a great card to start a reading off with, and it'd be nice to just read this card and just talk about this for a half an hour. But we've got our ways here on the channel, and we're going to do more cards. We've got a Princess of Cups now underneath everything. I think one of the things that's going to make you even more happy, right? One thing that's going to get us closer to this 10 of Cups is for you to really understand what you want, right? And not in the sense of material things. This is more like, what is it in your heart that you really dream about, right? What is it that you, if you ever catch yourself just kind of idly daydreaming or fantasizing or even literally dreaming at night, I think you should start keeping a dream journal if you don't already. What are the trends there? What are those daydreams and fantasies and visions? What are the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities and the literal dreams? What are they telling you? What is something that's deep within you that is maybe even below the threshold of consciousness, as this card is below everything else in the reading, right? This is kind of what's underneath the surface. There are dreams that you have within you that I think you might not even really think about most days, okay? So there's something underneath the surface that wants to manifest. And so I think that in the next 12 months, let's say by this time next year, I think you're going to have found one or several ways to start to manifest whatever these really deep-seated soul desires and fantasies and wishes and aspirations are. Okay? You're going to be engaged in something that is going to really feel like it's a dream that's coming true, right? It's in the process of manifesting and crystallizing into something tangible, okay? And that's part of the Princess of Cups, finding ways to take all of that imagination energy and put it into something, practical, something on the earth plane, right? It's a princess. It's having a feeling and then translating that into behavior, really, right? So I think that this is, the first step is kind of learning what these things are, keeping track of your dreams and daydreams and fantasies and things, visions, so that you kind of know what the trend is. What is your soul, what is your unconscious kind of pushing you toward that maybe we're not aware of? Maybe you very much are aware of it, though, too. That could be the case. Maybe you already have the dream journal going, right? What's behind everything here? The Star card. The Star card is in some ways similar to the Princess of of Cups, right? Because this is about understanding what's within you. There's two phases to the star energy. The first is the water coming down, the spiritual light, or whatever, the divine essence, the divine light coming down. And it illuminates what's within you. It shows you who you are, right? And then it once that light is in there and we feel full of that light and the blockages are clear, right? And we know ourselves, we can answer the question, who am I? Then that light starts to spill out into the world around us. And we're able to really see the path before us. It's kind of like the sidewalk lights up in front of us and we know where to walk, right? It's the yellow brick road, really. It might not appear as that. It might not be like a GPS line that's showing you exactly where to go. But things will stand out more to you. Something will just sparkle a little bit more than the other things. And it's like a video game, where you got to go through that wall because it kind of looks different than the other parts of the wall. Because it's like colored differently, slightly, right? That's kind of how you know which direction to go, how to kind of navigate your life. So the star really answers those questions, or at least it represents us investigating those questions. Who am I and why am I here? Okay. And I feel as if these are the fundamental questions that you've been asking yourself for a while now. And I think in the next 12 months, like a year from now, I think you're going to have a much more clear and concise answer to these questions. Okay? I really, really, really do. I feel as if something happened to you recently. There was some sort of a spiritual event, maybe a paranormal, quote-unquote, event, a supernatural event, but something rather mystical or mysterious or psychic or just weird, right? I think happened to you in the last 6 months or so. And I think it put you on kind of this new path. And it could have been any number of things, but I believe that it led you to this moment of thinking, okay, I'm not getting any younger. How am I going to get to my happiness? What do I need to do to really get that 10 of Cups, right? And it could be anything. It could be a near-death experience. It could be the loss of a loved one that you experienced in the last few months. It could be a near miss of some kind, right? It could be just a kind of strange, like I said, paranormal or psychic event. All right. Let's see what's up above everything with the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups obviously is emotional change. Okay. Things are different in your emotional life right now. And I think that with the turbulent emotion, this is not just bad. It's not just negative emotions. This is the realization of maybe the fleeting nature of emotions, how they come and go like waves, right? The good ones and the bad ones, right? We feel satisfied and happy, it washes away, and the next wave that comes in might be one of sadness or sorrow or disappointment or loss. So in some ways, I think the 5 of Cups is saying, in a year from now, you're going to have much more stable relationships. You're going to have more things, people, places, pets, plants, right, people. More of these things in your life that are steady and stable, because I feel that things are kind of coming and going like those waves for you, okay? And I think that there's a need now to have something that sticks around, having maybe even a joy that stays with you, right? Rather than, the pleasant emotions kind of wash away just as fast as the negative ones do. And so it's just always something flowing in and out and in and out. I think there's some stability that we're after. I think it's about us finding those things, and this really, it all speaks together, you see, because look at, this is all water energy. All of this is the same kind of, the same theme. With the 5 of Cups, it's about having those things in our life that are constant, right? Having something that is relatively consistent. It's not permanent. Even if we were to get a 4 of Cups or even a 6 of Cups, right, an even number, either side of the 5, we know it's not permanent, but it's a more consistent, it's a more steady thing. So I feel that the 5 is, in the next year or so, you're going to have more stable relationships, more close relationships, less fluctuations between pleasant and unpleasant emotions. Okay, things are going to be more constant for you, right? Whether this is, family relations are going to be more stabilized. Romantic relationship maybe will be more stabilized. It'll be a shift toward more, I think, more pleasurable experiences generally that seem to perhaps fluctuate to the unpleasant less, if that makes sense, right? So I think it's more of a consistent feeling of steadiness and stability, and a kind of a pleasant feeling, right? We'll come back to this if we need to, but I feel like this is kind of where we're headed with a lot of this stuff. And the Three of Wands in the future. So now we're kind of continuing a different path this way, right? Because the Three of Wands is about the identity. It's about you doing what you know is right because you know yourself and know your path. Who am I? Where am I going? Well, this is who are you and where you're going. Okay? So I feel like in the next 12 months, a year from now, I think you're going to have a much stronger sense of self. I think you're going to have now this is interesting, a certainty about your direction, but not a certainty about the exact coordinates of things, right? In other words, you're going to know your path. You're going to know who you are and where you're going. But you're going to have such confidence in yourself because you do know yourself, right? You know who you are and why you're here, so that in every moment you make the right choices. Every moment is either left or right, or I guess straight, right? As this card might show. So in every moment you are making those decisions that are absolutely correct for you. So in that sense, you kind of know your direction, but it's not like a determinism. It's not that I have the exact GPS maps, like I printed out the MapQuest, and I know turn by turn, I have 50 sheets of paper here. I know exactly which turn, and how long it's going to take and how many miles exactly, right? And I was thinking the other day, it's amazing how these maps things, the MapQuest or Apple Maps, Google Maps, how can they be so accurate? Not that they're always accurate, but sometimes I'll use them and it'll say I'll get somewhere at 5:14 p.m. and sure enough, 5:14, there I am. It's just strange, right? Our life doesn't work that way. Our path, our destiny, right? Our destination, our sense of traveling to a destination doesn't work that way. Okay, what we have to do is adapt and reconfigure and recalculate every single moment. Maybe that's how the map things do it. They just they're constantly recalculating, right? That's kind of what we have to do too. And the Three of Wands is us knowing ourselves and knowing the who and the why, right? So that we can recalculate our path in every moment. It's just an ongoing process with us. Yeah. So it's really, I think it is born from our ability to accomplish things. There's the victory card again, the Six of Wands, right? That we're completing these challenges we're ticking things off the box, right, off the checklist. And every time we do that, it gives us a little bit more confidence that there is movement, right? Everything we tick off the checklist is bringing us left or right or straight. And now we're really able to trust ourselves that we're going in the right direction. Whatever, and it's not just this, it doesn't have to be the same direction. The right direction is sometimes left, sometimes right, sometimes straight. Okay. So I think this is really a good energy for the next 12 months or so. And that's sort of an arbitrary number, but I feel that there's kind of a basis for that. And it really is the fact that we have this 10 of cups right here in the middle, and maybe 10 months would be more accurate. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And Jimbo, the Lizard King, aka Mr. Lizard, will go right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. and it will give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction, drop it in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and it really supports the channel. This channel is supported by viewers like you, and I really appreciate that. Let's check in general energy now. Path of the Serpent, we got the Two of Cups. I do feel that part of your satisfaction, part of your happiness, right, where you will be a year from now will see you with a lot more of these intimate connections. Like I said over here with the Five of Cups, that things will stabilize, that there will stop, it will stop feeling like things are always coming and going and going and coming. Things are going to really stabilize, right? The Two of Cups is a card of love, okay? And it's Venus in Cancer. It is really it is an attraction, right? It is us feeling kind of deeply attracted to someone, or even to an idea, or to a place, or to a career, or to an artistic vision, right? Or an ideal, or to a sound, or an aesthetic, or a vibe, right? It could be any of these things. But it's a deep attraction, one that cannot be denied. So I think that between now and this time next year, you're going to find yourself falling deeply in love. Okay? Put away the pitchforks. It does not have to be romance. But it might be. Okay? It really depends on well, a lot of factors. I was going to say it depends on what you want, but it doesn't really. It doesn't depend on what you want. It kind of depends on what deep down, what your soul really wants. You know, because we could find ourselves deeply attracted to something, but our conscious mind is saying, wait a minute, I don't want that. I've got no time for that nonsense, right? The heart wants what the heart wants. The soul yearns for what the soul yearns for, right? And so it could be romance, but I feel it is a deep attraction, a deep love for something that is, in some ways it represents a particular goal, I think, right? And it's something that we then feel as if we want to continue focusing on and working toward and devoting our energy to. Okay. I think you're somebody with a very deep capacity to love. You know, when you allow yourself to feel what your heart is feeling, I think it really is intense for you. Okay. I think that you have strong connections with family, though I don't know if it's blood family. It kind of feels like it's a chosen family for you. I feel as if you really do care for your people, that you will fight for your people, you know. And for you, I believe it's quality over quantity, okay? But the Two of Cups really is that one-on-one thing. It's kind of you and that particular objective, that particular object or thing or idea or vision or aesthetic or vibe or a person that you feel is kind of, you know, a soulmate kind of situation, right? Really, really that kind of perfect match. Yeah. But let's see what's in the environment. Let's see how this might be influencing our behavior. The next card is the relationship with the environment. Okay. A Queen of Pentacles. This card is usually a card of us looking at the past. Okay. So in some ways, this is you a year from now. Looking back on all of this energy, right? All of these predictions, so to speak, looking at all these choices, all of these efforts, all of these little tiny accomplishments and really big accomplishments. And I think that you are sitting in the manifestation of all of these energies, especially the Princess of Cups, because there is the earth connection between these two cards, and these two cards have a very intimate connection just in the Dove and Serpent spread. Because this is kind of outside of you and this is deep within you, perhaps unconsciously so, right? And they're both earth energies, because the Princess is the earth energy of the Cups, and of course the Queen is the water energy of the earth. So it's kind of, they're sort of inside out in a way. And that's what we're doing. We're taking what's inside and we're manifesting it outside. So to me, this feels like the manifestation of a dream. So I think, where will you be a year from now? You will be sitting pretty in the realization of one of your deepest dreams, your deepest desires, right? Because you, at some point in the next 12 months, you're going to be falling in love with that. And it's going to commit you to it. And you are going to see every choice, every little tiny accomplishment and every big, huge accomplishment as pointing you in that direction, right? And it's going to feel right. It's going to feel like this is who you are and why you're here is to do this work. Now, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It feels like this is your destiny in life, okay? To unite with whatever this is. And of course, this is the manifestation of those deepest dreams. And we're starting to get that earth energy now. Let's see what the obstacle is, if there is an obstacle. The challenge is for you to rise above, for you to get that objective viewpoint of things. Because as I was saying before, it feels like you're kind of, the heart wants, and then the mind is just like, oh, no, that, I don't want that. I don't have time for that nonsense, right? But we can't ignore what that deep soul desire is. It's more than just our surface level emotions. Oh, I'm hungry, I want to eat. Okay, sure. It's deeper than that, right? It's something really that I think is reflected in your unconscious workings of your soul, right? So dreams and visions and these kind of daydreams, these sorts of things, right? Definitely keep a dream journal, all right? But this card is the card of objectivity. That we want, if we are keeping a dream journal, don't attempt to interpret things, right? So we have dreams, we have visions, we have experiences in life, and the idea of this card is that we're writing them down almost as if they happened to somebody else, objective as possible, right? I mean, we can't really be objective, but the fact that we're conscious, beings makes everything subjective. But we can try to think of it as, okay, if somebody else is telling me what their dream was, or what their feelings are, or what their yearning and their desires are, I'm going to write it down as if I'm just listening to those things. I'm not going to interpret them. I'm not going to try to figure out what they mean, right? This is writing down those things and not trying to twist them or mold them into what we might consciously think we want or what they should be, right? Because again, the heart is kind of saying something that the mind might be, oh, that's not really what it means. It really should be this, right? And I think that this is really a good practice, is to try to write down our dreams and visions and daydreams and our just musings of the day, to try to write them down as they appear to us, not as we think they should, or to write them down as, in the form of kind of what they represent or what we assume they represent in that moment that we're writing them down, right? If you do any kind of dream journaling, I think you know what I'm talking about. You don't write down what you think the meaning of the dream is. No, you just write down the facts that you remember. Red door, there were some clouds and whatever. There was a head floating around, right? We put down the images as we remember them, not as we think they should be interpreted. And I feel like that's the challenge, is to kind of keep your intelligent mind from changing what the feelings are. Yeah, because I think the mind does that very often. We have a feeling, we feel a certain way, right? A lot of water energy today. We feel a certain way, and the mind is going to try to see if I can put it together in such a way that it actually is just it's a defense mechanism, something that kind of keeps us safe, keeps us in the same groove that we've been in. It's kind of like the intellect feels its job to keep everything the same and protect us from any kind of turmoil or turbulence or even a feeling of dissatisfaction. And especially with that 5 of Cups, because we're after this 10. But if we're seeing that it's a 5 now, this feels like a disappointment. It feels like there's so much more potential out there. But the mind is kind of saying, let's just be okay with what we have, or something along those lines. Not trying to really stir the pot, not trying to rock the boat. Okay. So anyway, I think that really, as the only air energy in the reading, I feel like this is very important. Let's see what the final outcome card is. Ooh, the Hierophant. Interesting. The Hierophant to me feels kind of like, it's sort of a teacher type of energy. It's maybe, a counselor, somebody that has reached a position of experience, a level of experience where there is, there's kind of we've earned the right to share that experience with others. Okay? So with this card, I feel, and this is the second of the major arcana. See, we have who are you and why are you here? And then, of course, the other major arcana is the Hierophant. I almost feel that this card is saying that you're going to reach a level of achievement or experience or some sort of ascendancy or some sort of promotion that's putting you in a position now to share your wisdom and knowledge with others, to teach others, to help others. It might be in a workplace kind of situation. But I feel that this is you really being promoted up the ladder somewhere. Okay, maybe it's a school. Maybe it's literally a school thing. Maybe you're in some sort of a educational field, or you work for an academic institution, something along those lines. But I feel that this is you sharing your wisdom with other people. Okay, whether this is you becoming some sort of a counselor or a therapist. Maybe you already are in psychology or psychiatry or something. But this is. And maybe this is part of your goal in life. Maybe this is part of the water energy, what we're really falling in love with, and what now seems to be your purpose or your mission, right? But I think in 12 months from now, you're going to find yourself in a position of expertise almost, right? Where you're going to be the one sharing your wisdom and knowledge with other people in some capacity. It feels like it's kind of an official capacity, right? I don't feel like it's just, your friends are always asking you for advice or something like that. I feel like it's more than that. And I feel like it's something that it's professional, it's formal, right? It's probably paying you money. But it's really you achieving that kind of status somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, though. And I guess maybe you don't know quite yet either, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Very interesting. This is going to really be a very good year for you. I think that especially with that 10 of Cups, and of course that we're finding that path that's going to fulfill us, that's going to bring us more, that's going to bring us closer to that fullness and that fulfillment of the 10 of Cups. That you're finding the path toward that, and it has something to do with this, right? And this could be some sort of a position or a role in a spiritual or religious organization. Okay, it could be something like that. But with the mystery card now, what do we need? We have everything. We have majors, we got fire, we've got water, maybe a little more earth. Right? Maybe a little more earth. I'm going to say earth, 6, 9, 10 pentacles. That's it. Right? If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Oh, Queen of Cups. The main part of this work for you is to listen to that Princess of Cups. This really, with the Queen of Cups, this is us searching for that thing. This is us going deep within ourselves to find out what cup is missing from here. Right? What is it that we really need to focus on, let's say this year, that we really want to accomplish? That's going to add to that fullness. That's going to bring us more of that satisfaction. And then we start really ticking things off the checklist to get that. And I think the first step really is to find out what it really means. What is this Ace of Cups deep within you? Right? This is a lot of water here. We've got to search the unconscious. How do we search the unconscious? Through dreams, daydreams, visions, fantasies, right? Things like that, right? And then we can find that thing and we can start figuring out how to manifest it. But first we got to know what it is, right? I think this is step one. And I think it's a very, very good confirmation. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Leo every Tuesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.